I think without further ado, let's get into it. Hello everyone. So I'm Michael. I'm going to be the program manager for this event. Essentially, that means that you'll be hearing a lot of me over the next 4 weeks. But I'll be like the first point of call really if you have any questions. And I'm available to kind of on lots of platforms. So my Twitter's here if you want to note it down. I'm also available on Discord, which I'll be able to plug later on if you want to DM me. But the whole point of this hackathon is that you kind of don't sit there and struggle on your own. It's meant to be a team building exercise, and the team here at Encode is here for anything that you need. Moving on, just to explain a little bit about Encode Club in general, you might kind of already know more or less about this, depending on if you've done any programs before, but essentially we're a Web3 education community, and we help devs learn how to build and work through career paths in Web3. And in some cases, we even help people in the end get companies off the ground. So how do we do this? We kind of have 5 main arms through which we do this. We have our Educate series, which are pretty much anyone to attend. Hackathons, which you're obviously all in. And I think these are really great to test skills that you may have learned previously. And I feel like applying your skills is the only way that you can truly learn. So it's great that you're all here in that. Boot camps, we sometimes look for people with existing experience, kind of maybe in Web 2 or Web 3. But by participating in these hackathons, it gives you a great chance potentially to be involved in that boot camps in the future. And for accelerators, we normally sometimes have our best teams in hackathons that usually progress to them. So if you really want to prove yourself as a developer or founder in the space, then hackathons is the place to be. And finally, just to touch on recruitment, the recruitment arms helps to find best developers within the space and to find them jobs with great partners. So that is the 5 main arms, and we're a growing community with over 500,000 developers, so it's great that you can also join us as well. So that brings us to today, which is the LightLink Gasless Hackathon. And this is a 4-week hackathon to get you started building on LightLink, featuring bounties, technical workshops, and support. And luckily for you, I have a few people that are going to expand upon this later, but we have our title sponsor, which is LightLink, and it's great that we actually have a representative from them who you'll be hearing from very shortly. And so thank you for them for sponsoring this event. And actually now I'd like to pass the stage to Yasin, who is our head of growth here at Encode Club, just a few words about the event and about himself.
Hey, yo. Lovely to welcome all of you here. Again, we're kicking off an amazing hackathon early in the year. We love doing these. Again, it's going to be an amazing program. We've worked really hard to get a lot of partners involved as well. And LightLink themselves are an amazing partner to work with. So there's a lot of things that you can engage with. The program's going to be really interesting. And my advice to you is try and, get out of your comfort zone, see and engage with the people around you. The whole room and the whole program will be filled with a lot of interesting people that are here to learn, people that are here to engage, make new friends, make new connections, and who knows, maybe even meet someone that they can be their own co-founder for like a company that they've not yet founded. So again, try to engage, try to be proactive, and you will get to extract a lot out of this program. Again, we're here to support you. We've done programs like this a lot of times before, and we're really, really happy to have you all involved. And yeah, reach out. Michael and the rest of our team are here to help you out. And yeah, looking forward to see you all engage and the things that you end up building.
Thank you, Yasin. So after that, we're going to now move on to representative from LightLink. Which is Roy. So I would like to just invite him to the stage now.
Excellent. Well, thank you so much for this opportunity. It's our very first hackathon for 2024, so I'm super excited about that. And it's really good to be working with our partners, including Encode, API3, and many of our co-sponsors to make this event possible. So I've been in the space since 2017. So for the past 7 years almost now, we've been building in the Web3 space. And we've encountered numerous enterprise customers that struggle to understand unpredictability of Web3, of the crypto space. And therefore, we've built LightLink to try to address a lot of the problems that we've seen in the industry. So LightLink is an EVM-based layer 2 blockchain. It is fairly high in capacity, very low in latency, and it's built with an enterprise customer in mind. So when we look at enterprise customers, we typically think about very large banks and public transportation companies, but at the same time, it could be a DeFi project, right? Because that's the new enterprise customers, and we want to build new world-changing business that we want to build. So from the enterprise customer perspective, we can utilize the technology, particularly from a predictable gasless capability to onboard an enterprise customer or many of its customers within the enterprise clientele. So that means when users are interacting with your dApp, with your on-chain project, it could be a substantially better user experience by removing the need of a native token, which sometimes would add a little bit of barrier to entry. But LightLink in this way has also the capacity to operate in a public mode. So anybody can experiment on top of the chain, use Ether as a native token, and it's also very cost effective in the public mode as well. So it's great to be working on a platform like this because I think it's all about having all developers contributing to this ecosystem, and it's all about building together. So you might be the very first application, very first dApp building on top of the network. We're fairly young and fairly new, so we love to see the innovation that you have, and feel free to reach out to us to see how we can collaborate and help from a technical perspective. I have a computer science degree myself, so I have a little bit of understanding of technology, and that's where I see, even from my own computer science background, try to look at how we can help developers. So it's all about a celebration of developers, about collaboration, about meeting a co-founder. So thank you once again for the opportunity. Good luck with your hackathon.
Thank you, Roy. I'm sure you'll be inspiring a lot of people to build on LightLink very soon. So I appreciate you taking a moment to share everything about it. But we'll be moving on now to explain a little bit more about kind of the flow of the hackathon. So for those of you that are less familiar with the process, like what actually happens during the hackathon. So obviously the first step starts with registering, and I hope that most of you have already done that. If you're listening and you haven't done so, then please do register, because it's quite a crucial part in terms of receiving all the information you need to know in order to build something. Secondly, we have forming a team. And I think this is a crucial part of a hackathon, given that it is very much a team-based exercise. So if once you've joined the Discord, there's actually a dedicated Discord channel to join at the beginning of the week. And loads of people looking to form a team. So don't be shy. It should be very easy to find people that want to work with you, given that you're all interested in similar things. Next, we have attend to workshops. We actually have one straight after this launch event by API3 that should be very interesting. So please watch out for that. And everyone, all the workshops will kind of be teaching invaluable skill sets. I really do recommend going to them. Next, we're building your project. So this is obviously most important step in order to get to the final stage of submitting. And if you do have any technical issues on this stage, then please feel free to ping our team, and we'll help to kind of solve any niggling issues. And that is like this one-to-one mentorship, which will either be me or someone else, probably more technical, that will be able to help with the nitty-gritty. And finally, please do submit. I think the most important part about participating in hackathon is that you have something at the end that you can show that you have built, and I think that you could be proud of. I'm sure we'll have lots of amazing projects to showcase at the end. So just to reflect on our support again, this is like the 4 main pillars. So 1 will be workshops, where we have our partners delivering workshops on specific elements. Technical support, which will again be members. Please reach out to us for that so we can reach out to other people. Our Discord community is very, very active. So if you put any message on there, we will get back to you extremely quickly. And as you can see in the link below, Encode's Discord is the perfect place to be for that. And also, please do join LightLink's Discord, as they will also be posting announcements on anything going on during the next 4 weeks. So this might be the part that interests you quite a bit. So now we want to get onto the bounties and prizes that you could possibly be winning if you're selected as one of the winners. And we have a very exciting total prize pool of $63,000. And this is split in between prizes, grants, and security audits that you can see on screen. And now I'll just help to kind of break down a little bit into the various challenges to see how you might be in a chance of a share of these rewards. So first of all, I'd just like to start off with the best project built on LightLink. And there are many prizes to be won on this, starting off with $5,000 plus a 5,000 prize auditing hours from Sec3. And this is a fairly simple challenge, just kind of based on building upon LightLink infrastructure. And it's important to note that even if your submission is not selected by other partners, you could still be eligible for this award. And given that Sec3 are also providing part of the prizes for these placements, I'd also like to invite Jack from Sec3, if you were able to just give a little talk about what Sec3 do and about the bounty in particular.
Hi, everybody. Really happy to be here at the LightLink and Encode Hackathon. Very excited to have this event kicked off, and thanks to our gracious hosts for the well-coordinated event. So as Michael mentioned, my name is Jack from Sec3, and I am head of business development here. Sec3 is an industry-leading multi-chain security research and auditing company. So our company is consisted of computer science professors, high-level cryptographers, as well as exceptional white hats. We provide both Web 2 as well as smart contract and automated security tools. We're super excited to see what you guys will be building for the hackathon, and we'll be supporting these efforts by providing the top 3 finalist winners with security auditing hours. So feel free to reach out to me during or after the hackathon, and I'll be more than happy to offer guidance and support about security and product feedback wherever possible. So happy hacking, guys.
Thank you, Jack. That was great. And now just to move on to another bounty that LightLink is sponsoring. And that will be, so the bounty's title is Dice Poker, and that involves creating a token-based dice poker game using Moon and API3's quantum random number generator. And I think this is quite an exciting prize for all you gamers. And there's a first place prize of $1,000. So hopefully this excites a lot of you. And we also have another LightLink sponsored prize, which is to build a non-custodial wallet with a savings feature. Again, another big prize on offer for $1,000. So if this is of interest, then please reach out, and I'm sure there'll be lots of people on the team that on the Discord community that also want to build on this. So please do get involved. Our next bounty is actually a joint one sponsored by LightLink and Blockscout, and we actually do have a representative from Blockscout who will be able to speak about this. So if Moimir will be on the stage very shortly. Here he is coming just now.
Yeah, hey guys, hope you can all hear me well.
Perfect, yeah.
Yeah, So nice to meet you all. Super excited to get this going. And actually about Blockscout, so we have been around for quite a while. So we are pushing to our 7th year. Currently, Blockscout support like over 600 different chains, and one of the chains we work very closely with is LightLink, where we support both testnet and mainnet with the blog explorers. And also we have the joint pool prize for the hackathon, and it's actually should be very super easy and straightforward for all of you to apply there. So basically the only requirement from Blockscout, because we didn't want to come up with anything complicated, because assuming at some point of the hackathon you all will be using and interacting with the blog explorer, so that's a pretty much straightforward thing. But what we wanted to highlight for the hackathon is the My Account feature. So the only requirement to be eligible for this pool prize is to just go to the Phoenix mainnet instance, and on the top right, you can create mine account, and actually you can use it to do all sorts of different stuff. So you can create a watch list, you can have your own private tags for the addresses or for the transactions, so you can receive some like email notifications whenever the transaction happens on the address and so on. You can also submit the public tags. You can generate API keys, which receive the individually rate limited key. So yeah, basically just want to promote this new functionality which we have, because the Blockscout for LightLink is already like following our latest version with the new UI. So, and also just want to highlight that we also set up a dedicated channel for all of you in our Discord. So if you have any Blockscout specific and related questions to our bounties or to the product itself, please feel free to reach out, and yeah, we will be able to assist. So excited to see what you all will build. Thanks.
Thank you, Moimir. That was great. I think it'll definitely inspire some people to build on that. So quickly moving on to Perion here, which is one of the special sponsors for our event. And I just wanted to invite Amos quickly to speak about their bounty.
Hey everyone, I'm Amos, co-founder and CTO at Perion. A little bit about me: I've pretty much been playing games my whole life. Currently playing Red Dead Redemption. I'm an anime nerd, and I've been a part of the Web3 space since 2017, and just learned more and more and more about it as the years went on. At Perion Labs, we build products at the intersection of Web3 and gaming, with a key focus of onboarding the people in Web2 gaming to Web3. Our main flagship product is xp.gg. You can take a look at that at xp.gg. And pretty much what it is, it's kind of like Strava for gaming. So the challenge you guys will be taking part of is related to that. And our intention for the product is really to help gamers get good by increasing competition in gaming, connection, and clout. And then the bounty, we have a 5K bounty total, which is 5 prizes of $1,000. So yeah, thanks for having me. I'll add my Twitter handle in the chat for anyone that wants to follow about anything Web3, Web3 gaming, my thoughts, and just kind of like general news. But yeah, thank you, Michael, and good luck, everyone.
Thank you, Amos. No, that was brilliant. And I can see you have quite a few fans in the chat as well. But yeah, moving on from Perion, would like to now hear from Liteflow. And we have Anthony, who will be our lovely representative to speak about NFT marketplaces.
Hello, everyone. Thanks, Michael, for the whole event and for this whole presentation. So yeah, with Liteflow, so a bit about myself. I'm in the blockchain space for 7-8 years now, basically beginning of Ethereum. been working with a lot of different projects to really like help build their tools. And 3-4 years ago, started to get involved into Liteflow. So I'm the actual co-founder and CEO of Liteflow. And what we build at Liteflow is really the stack for you to build your NFT products. So a lot of NFT products are really oriented around NFT marketplaces where you can actually trade your NFTs, create your NFTs, mint your NFTs, and so on. It's rather complicated to do that. So basically what we did with Liteflow is we actually created the whole infrastructure for projects. And so you have access to all your NFT data, to an NFT exchange, to all the tools to have your collections, to do your minting, also some wallet-to-wallet messaging, basically all the tools you need to really build your NFT products. So we manage all the kind of like complex blockchain parts. We, of course, integrated with LightLink a couple months ago. So with Roy, we had this integration with Liteflow and LightLink, so you can really create your own NFT marketplace directly on LightLink. And so, yeah, our prices for this hackathon would be $1,000 for the first, second $500, third $200. It's really easy to create an NFT marketplace on Liteflow. You can really, like in 5 minutes, create your own marketplace. So we do expect a bit of work on some kind of like customization, and also on a big part where we try to really push project to really think about their business model. So we have a lot of tools to really customize your fee on the platform, for example, if you want to connect your fee to some staking system and so on. So that could be something really creative. I really recommend you to push on this side, try to collaborate with some other projects. And also on top of that, we have a grant for the winners to actually have a platform free for the next 6 months, plus advisory from us, and all the suite of services that we can provide. And with that, good luck to everyone.
Thank you, Anthony. That was brilliant, and thank you for that introduction of Liteflow. And now we will be moving on to AP3 in just a moment. And yeah, we have Ben up on the stage to speak about it.
Hey, everybody. Thanks for organizing this, Michael, and Encode Club. And a big shout out to LightLink, of course, specifically Vlad, who's been organizing this like a machine. Yeah, just a quick intro to API3. We've been building blockchain oracles since 2018 and started building API3 in 2020. You know, it's great to be able to deploy API3 QRNG to LightLink for this hackathon. The challenge is very open. We want to see people imagine or use the art of the possible in regards to the oracle, and that might be through on-chain gaming, applying it to on-chain casinos or prediction markets, utilizing it in NFT mints, utilizing it in whitelisting or lottery processes, and anything else that you may imagine. And for that, we will have a bounty of $1,000. I think if there is something that is, you know, if there's a project that wants to go into further development, the API3 team has, you know, has the kind of the ethos of supporting those builders. So, you know, if something does come to fruition, it's just an idea in this experience, and you want to engage post the hackathon, we're here, and I'm sure LightLink will also be keen to see this happen. So, yeah, good luck, everybody. You'll have myself and Vansh in the community, so if you have any questions, feel free to reach out and enjoy.
Thank you, Ben. That was a great intro of API3. And now we'll actually be able to hear from another sponsor, which is Moon. And we'll be hearing from Elliot speak about kind of AI-powered apps or tools. He'll be coming on in just a moment. He should be in there. Here he is now.
Thanks, Michael. Nice to meet everyone. I'm Elliot, the CTO and co-founder of UseMoon AI. Moon is bringing Web 2 superpowers to Web 3. As most people have experienced, Web 3 is very hard and scary for new people. So Moon is enabling not only hidden Web3 experiences, but also enabling users to sign up via familiar onboarding experiences, such as Google OAuth. And using Moon, AI agents can also interact and be empowered by Moon, enabling new economies and even commerce between AI agent and AI agent. And our prize bounty is build an AI-powered app or tool. And the prize bounty will be $1,000. So I'm very excited to see what people come up with.
Thank you, Ellie. Yeah, that was a great explanation of Moon and kind of bounty, and I'm sure it'll be exciting opportunity for anyone excited in AI, which I'm sure many of you are. And now we'll be moving on to our next bounty.
My name is Abhi. I'm head of BD at Pyth. Pyth Network is the largest first-party financial oracle solution, delivering real-time market data to about 50 blockchains in a secure and transparent manner. We support 400 real-time price feeds, so we're pretty popular for DeFi. But something I want to highlight, and this is where we are here, is that we are also launching a new product called Entropy. Entropy is Pyth's verifiable random number generator. It works in a very unique two-party commit reveal system. And as part of the bounty and the competition today, we love to see a spin on Cards Against Humanity using Pyth's Entropy as a product. Just a side note, we will be integrating with LightLink for price feeds as well as Entropy. So you will have both products from Pyth Network on LightLink coming very soon.
Thank you, Abhimanyu. That was very useful, and I love the bounty name, so I'm sure that will be interesting many people. And sticking on a similarly kind of gaming theme, we have Yesports next. Unfortunately, the representative was engaged today, so they're not able to attend. But I'll be able to give a brief explanation. So it basically involves building a casual game enabling quantum random number generators by API3. And for example, you could be building a poker app utilizing the quantum random number generator to establish a virtual deck of cards. So I think there are a lot of opportunities out there for people interested in gaming, and I think this is another one that will definitely capture interest. And again, another big prize available of $1,000. And lastly, actually no, penultimately, I'd like to invite Mitch to the stage for Forward to speak about DApp templates.
Hey, how's it, Michael? How you doing?
All good, thanks. The stage is yours. You probably heard from me enough.
Yeah, great. It's, thanks again for the invite to come and chat to the community. Really amazing to be here. We're super pumped to be part of this hackathon. My name is Mitch. I'm the co-founder of Forward Protocol, and we've been in the blockchain space since 2013. Forward's been around for the last 4 years. And just in a nutshell, Forward is similar to what could be likened to the WordPress for Web3. It's a no-code, full-stack app building and deployment toolkit, which allows developers to create, customize, monetize, and deploy dApps directly to LightLink and to any other EVM chains. And what it really does is it allows a developer to access a non-technical audience, pretty much like WordPress does, where people don't know anything about the industry, they don't know anything about Web3, but they can come into a template library, select, customize, and deploy a template, and they don't need to know about the code behind it. So it gives the developers a chance to access that, monetize, and actually earn off their creations. And the bounty that we've got is 2 prizes of $500 each. And the brief really is just to create a dApp template with a real world use case that'll be published on Forward Marketplace. And we've got a list of things that we'd like you to focus on. It's all in the documentation. If there's anything that you think outside of this list that you think, man, I got a fantastic idea, I'd like to bring that to market, please just reach out. We'll definitely consider that. But what we are looking for is for things that a non-technical user would actually use in their businesses or in their lives. And the potential, the market potential is absolutely massive as we go into this next wave of adoption. So really looking forward to what you guys come up with and super excited to be part of this. Thanks again.
Thank you so much, Mitch. That was brilliant. And so that brings us onto our last bounty, and this is last but very much not least. We have SolidityScan, and Sankalp will be speaking a little bit about the bounties that they have on offer. This is slightly different in terms of how the prizes are distributed, but Sankalp will be able to give a fuller description on that as he approaches the stage very, very shortly. But while he does that, here he is.
Hi, Michael. Thank you. Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Sankalp. I lead the growth and the partnerships at a company called SolidityScan. I mean, we are a product of a parent company called Threat Shields. We perform, sort of security audits. And SolidityScan being a, dev-centric Web3 security tool that allows the devs to, essentially scan their smart contract and fix the vulnerabilities on the fly. We're happy to, say that we are already integrated into LightLink's Explorer, built by Blockscout. So we are a very close partners of, both the companies. So I just thought to, why not to support the dev communities as well. So yeah, I'm like pretty excited to see, what the people are building up, and probably, there's some good bounties in terms of from the participant level and from the winning teams level as well. Thanks. Happy hacking. Bye-bye.
Perfect, Sankalp. And that is all our bounties for today. And I'm sure that one of those amongst those many will have interested you. And as ever, you'll find all of the relevant information on the Hacker Pack if you want to find any more specific details on those. Now, we're going to just quickly run through a few of the details for the hackathon. As I know that people will be eager to be getting onto the workshop day afterwards. But just to run through these quickly, who can take part? As you can see, anyone can take part. And there are a lot of challenges to offer, so hopefully one of those takes your fancy. Can I enter an existing project? You can, but this does involve kind of significant feature improvements, and we don't kind of just want to see a copy and paste from a previous hackathon. And it'll be definitely important to show that you have built on a previous project. All the organization will be happening on Discord. So as Angela put in the links below, please follow LightLink's and Encode's Discord server to stay updated. Please also do check out the Hacker Pack, and this will have everything you need to know. And it is sometimes being updated throughout the hackathon, so we'll alert you if anything changes updated that you need to look at. Do I need a team? You can build solo, but we do recommend joining a team. I think that's a great way to build with others. I think part of the hackathon spirit is also teaming up and being with people that are also interested in the same things as you. And will there be technical support? Yes, this might not necessarily be coming from me, but we'll definitely have people on our team that will be able to support you with any of those teething issues. So now for the key dates. As you already know, obviously that now is a launch event. We've got our first workshop, which as you can see is running slightly behind schedule, but it'll be coming immediately after I finished. We've also got a list of workshops coming this week and also next week. And key dates for you to keep in mind. So submission deadline is Sunday, February the 4th. And that is the deadline to submit kind of all your projects. So please do keep that in mind. And the finale will be on February 22nd. And I very much hope to see some of your projects there. Just a reminder of the workshops this week. After me, you'll be hearing from API3. And on Thursday this week, you'll also be able to hear Project Showcase, kind of leveling up your gaming with XP. And next week, We also have Moon, who are delivering a workshop, as well as Liteflow. So please do set reminders. And of course, if you can't attend, make sure to catch up on the recordings, which will be taken and shared in the Hackerpacks later on. So there are pretty simple next steps. As we've been pretty insistent, please do join the Discord. And here you'll find your teammates. Again, participate in all the workshops. And lastly, and most importantly, build your project. It'll be lovely to see as many submissions as possible. And maybe you can put it as your nice New Year's resolution to stick with. And yeah, that concludes from me. We won't have the chance to answer questions in the chat right now, but please do take a note of my Discord and feel free to DM. And I'll be happy to answer any questions later on. But that does conclude the launch event. And thank you so much for everyone for listening to me. And we'll probably just give you kind of like a minute just to take a moment before we invite API3 to the stage to deliver their lovely workshop. Just to give an introduction, this is the start of API3's workshop, and we also have Vansh, who has just joined us onto the stage now.
Hey guys, I'm Vansh. I'm from API3. I work there as an integrations engineer. I think Ben would be joining us too. I'm just gonna wait on him, I guess. But yeah, a short introduction. So I work as an integrations engineer. I've been with them for almost 2.5 years. And my day-to-day job usually consists of working on proof of concepts, working with dApps and chains, and then also maintaining our technical documentation. Oh, here we have Ben.
Hey guys, how you doing? Yeah, I mean, I don't know if we should dive straight in, Michael. I don't know if that's the key for us to jump on.
You can both go ahead and feel free to kind of share your screen as well if you'd like any slides.
Yeah, sure. Let's go for it. Yeah, so I'm basically just going to run you through very quickly QRNG, and then Vansh is going to do a live workshop running through how you can actually utilize the Oracle. So I've got a few slides here, and then I'll say a quick few words, let's say 5-10 minutes, and pass it over for people to dive into it. Cool, yeah, I mean, just so API3, we touched on it earlier. We are a first-party Oracle solution. That means from a back-end perspective, we have built an Oracle node that is deployed to the API providers. You turn their endpoint ID into something that you can request for your contracts. And what we believe is that this simplified Oracle solution enables people to access Web 2 data en masse. And really, we are building this technology to scale the blockchain kind of landscape at a global level. And to do that, you need to be able to quickly and easily access real-world data. And do so in a way that is transparent, verifiable, and when needs to be decentralized. Cool. So that's a high level on API3. The kind of soft elements around us. We've been building Oracle since 2018. We formed the white paper in late 2020. And yeah, over the last 3 years, we've built in the various different pieces in the kind of API3 Oracle stack, let's say, to deliver the Oracle solutions that is needed for the kind of key verticals across Web3 at the moment. We're about 35 to 40 people, globally distributed. We operate as a DAO, which was formalized in 2021. And yeah, what we kind of pioneered was the kind of ethos of first-party Oracles. Today you've got Vansh. Vansh gave a quick introduction to himself. He's one of our integrations engineers. He's also quite on hand with the community and helps people out with any challenges or issues they may face. He knows QRNG and Encode inside out. So if you're building within the hackathon and want to kind of come and engage the team, come into the API3 Discords. We'll be there. We can't quite be there 24/7, but somebody from the API3 team will pick up an inquiry. If not, Vansh will be there, or I'll be there as well. I'm API3's ecosystem lead. I've been part of the project for 3 years. And that's enough about myself. So yeah, what are we here for? So we're here to basically build a decentralized applications using API3's QRNG. So API3 QRNG is a quantum RNG. It lets you request randomness to your blockchain for various different reasons, mainly because blockchains are deterministic. It's not easy for people to request entropy to your smart contracts, and therefore often you need an oracle to do so for you. Hence, you see kind of Pyth alongside us has got a solution that they've just released, I guess. And yeah, there's different solutions to get this RNG. Quantum RNG is one way of doing this. I'll dive into this a little bit more in a few slides. But just as a base kind of background level of understanding around how this oracle works, what we've done is effectively deployed Airnode to various different quantum RNG APIs. Airnode is a serverless, Lambda function effectively. We've built the Oracle nodes to kind of deploy en masse, as I just touched on earlier. This means anybody can integrate with any REST API using an Airnode very easily. And you have different methods to request or call that data on chain. So you use different protocols and different methods of kind of requesting that off-chain data to your contracts. In this case, we have a requester contract for QRNG. Going back into, so quantum RNG, quantum random number generation, it's effectively a public good oracle. It's fully permissionless for developers to use. We set it up that way because we saw that there was not enough coverage across different networks, and the way that people were accessing the kind of similar RNG oracles in the past was quite dated. It's very difficult for people to access. So our motivation in launching this was to deploy this across as many networks as possible, and to do it in a method that is very easy for people to access and utilize. One of the kind of leads, the first partner we deployed with was with Australian National University's Quantum Optics Division. These folks have been running a quantum API for about a decade. It's a division within the university. That is Dr. Aaron Trenter, who basically leads that function. Since then, we've also deployed to Quintessence, which is a very well-known quantum API from the Web2 world. And we're also going to have an additional provider onboarded just soon. And the idea is to create a kind of DQRNG, which might not be a public good, but we can offer that alongside the RNG. Yeah, I mean, just going into kind of like quantumly generated RNG, I'm not a physicist or a scientist, so forgive me if this explanation isn't quite on point with the way that these guys would talk about it. But quantum RNG is basically created through quantum phenomena. It's a machine that measures fluctuations in atoms, as I understand it, and it provides you with a source of entropy that's very very unique. It cannot be replicated. It's very difficult for people to kind of tamper with the way that RNG is generated compared to others, which is pseudo-random or kind of traditional just hash block ID, which is another way that people use this on chain at the moment. The scientific community refer to this as true randomness. If you want to go do some reading around quantum generated RNG, you'll find out a lot more about that, but I'll just kind of leave it there. And yeah, that's kind of a good overview of this. I mean, Vansh, do you want to chime in here at all? If you're able to.
Hey, yeah. So just about the protocol and how it works. So a requester. So the requester term we're going to use a lot. It's basically a smart contract that would be requesting data from an Airnode. So in this case, as we can see, the requester basically requests data. So about Airnode. Every Airnode can be identified by an Airnode address on chain. So that means that all the Airnodes that you can actually verify on chain from where your data is coming from. So let's just say a requester wants to get data from a QRNG Airnode. So he would make a full request to the Airnode RRP contract. The Airnode RRP contract in turn would then emit an event and a request ID, and it would add it basically gets added in the event logs. So Airnode has two parts, an off-chain part and an on-chain part. The on-chain part connects with the RPC and listens to the on-chain events that get submitted with the request ID, and the off-chain parts basically calls the API and gets a random number. And then the A node within each 1 minute interval tries to fulfill all the unfulfilled requests using a callback function through the A node RRP, and the callback function would be defined within our request contract. So that's basically how it works. Like the data that you're getting from the A node is signed by the A node, and you can verify it on chain. So it's completely first party and it cannot be manipulated in any sense. I'm seeing some questions. Who are the data providers? So for QRNG, we have like some well-reputed quantum random number generator API providers. So it's ANU, Australian National University. Then we have Quintessence. Then we recently also got Quantum Blockchains. So these are all reputed data providers who have been providing quantum randomness to like institutions, research institutions, and universities. So yeah. Ben, do you want to move forward?
Yeah, sure. I mean, good question. This information is all in the documentation as well. So this kind of, segueing into this slide here, we have 3 different providers that we set up. You can go and learn about them all through the documentation or through your own research. We only work with very trusted data sources. These have all operated the Oracle themselves and set up their own air nodes. So you're effectively requesting those data providers as such, not requesting an API3 API. Just to kind of finish this off before Vansh jumps into the technical aspects of this, we have many different learning resources. We've had QRNG, has been accessible for developers since 2022. So in that time, we've managed to build out a lot of guides and demo projects, which you can find in the API3 documentation. We also have some different kind of starter repo and references that we've built up over different hackathons in the past, which you can find in a dedicated GitHub repository API3 ecosystem. We'll link this from some supporting materials that we'll have for you guys later today, if not tomorrow. If you're kind of figuring out how can I utilize this in a roulette wheel, there's a demo project for you to build your own roulette game. There's a lottery contract, there's an NFT minting contract that you can kind of follow along with. So yeah, please jump into that if you want to kind of get some hands-on experience. They've all been designed to be 0 to 1 and take you through, just understanding QRNG from a conceptual level through to applying it into a working product. So please, if you're curious, it's a great place to start. But of course, Vansh's workshop that you're going to see in a minute is going to be a good hands-on way to get started as well. So enjoy, everybody. And with that, I'll pass it over to you, Vansh.
So workshop breakdown, like this is just one slide. I'm going to switch over to Remix. So what we're going to do in this workshop is we're going to make a basic requester contract with all the functions to make a request to an A node. And then, we'll be coding a requester contract with the functions to make a request and then fulfill it. And then we'll call the make request function and wait for the request to get fulfilled. We're going to do all of this stuff using Remix IDE. So I think I'll now move over to Remix and start coding the contracts. Just give me 1 second. I've posted the link to getting started with QRNG. That's within our doc. So if someone wants to follow the guide alongside, they can do that. So I'll just switch over to Remix. So here I'll just create a new contract. LightLink QRNG solve. So here we can start coding a contract. I would just copy the basic imports and the variable names and mapping so that it's easier for me to just directly jump in. So here's the basic structure. Is this visible or should I make it bigger? Is this good?
Yeah, that's a little better now.
All right. So again, we define the contract. We import the RRP request show v0. That's basically the RRP contract, the request response protocol that we built here at API3. Then we are going to import enable from OpenZeppelin, of course, to access the access modifiers and everything. Then we're going to initialize the contract that's going to be RRP request to v0 and enable we're going to inherit. And then there are some basic events. So these events will be emitted, and for the A node to pick them up with the request ID, as you can see. So the request ID is something through which we match that this is the request ID that we sent out, and this is the request ID that got fulfilled. So these are all the events that we'll be using within our functions. And then we have all the variables. So the A node will be the address of the QRNG A node or any other A node that we would want to call. In this case, of course, it's QRNG. Then we have endpoint ID UN256. So what this means is for each API, we have endpoints. And as you can see in our providers, right, they have the A node addresses listed out. They have the extended public keys. They have the endpoint IDs and endpoint ID array. So if you want to request a single random number, you can use the endpoint ID UN256. That's what we're going to use here. And then if you want to request a random number in an array, like multiple random numbers, then you can use this endpoint ID. Like all these endpoint IDs are basically mapped to those endpoints. So that's what it basically defines. Then we have sponsor wallet. So this is the stuff that gets a little bit tricky. So every A node, for every A node callback, when it's going to send the data back to the requester contract, it does a callback to the request. It does a callback through the A node RRP to the requester contract. So for that, we need to fund it with gas. Like QRNG is completely free to use, but you'll have to cover the gas cost of the request. So that's what we're going to do. I'll show you how to derive the sponsor wallet for your requester contract and for the providers that you'll be using. Then this is QRNG UN256, the number that gets returned, and then the array that gets returned. So I guess we can start coding all our functions from here. So I'll just start. I'll first add a function to set request parameters. That's basically going to help us set the request parameter. So again, the address of the A node, then bytes 32, endpoint ID UN256, it's 32, endpoint ID UN256 array, and then the address of the sponsor wallet. And we're going to make this function external for now because we're going to do a remix demonstration. And we can also make it only owner so that only the owner can set the request parameters and no one else. So once the request parameters are set on chain, only the owner can change it. So that means anyone who would want to request, like you can modify it according to your contract. So we'll define the A node address here. Endpoint ID UN256 to this. Then same for the array. And the sponsor wallet. After setting the request parameters, the next function that I'm going to add is going to, so you're going to send funds to your requester contract, send funds to your sponsor wallet. It's a EOA wallet that is controlled by the A node. So it is advised not to send too much funds in it, but even if you send too much funds in it and you would want to retrieve them, you can add this function that basically emits a withdrawal request, and A node fulfills that withdrawal request and sends the funds back to the user. So make sure if you're using us, add this function so that you don't lose your funds. So it's a payable function that returns all the funds to the owner. Of course, it's going to transfer from, then message.value, all the funds that's going to be in the sponsor wallet. And then it emits a withdrawal request that gets picked up by the A node. So A node, then sponsor wallet. Yeah. And now we can move forward and actually code the main function to actually, that would make the request. So this is the make request function that makes the request for a single random number. It's going to be an external function again, and anyone can basically call it. So as I said before, on each request, Anode, on each request you make to the Anode RRP, it returns a request ID that we would want to check. So I forgot to explain this. So we will have a mapping expecting request with ID to be fulfilled. That's basically checks if a particular request ID has been fulfilled by the Anode or not. So that's what we are defining here. So we make a full request to the Anode RRP contract, make full request. And here we pass all the parameters that this function requires. So let me see if I have, yeah. So here's the make request function that gets called within the protocol contract. This is the protocol contract, takes in the Anode endpoint ID, sponsor. So in this case, the sponsor is going to be our requester contract. That means the contract that we're going to deploy here is going to be the sponsor. So address.this sponsor wallet is going to be the address that we will derive later. I'll come back to it. Fulfill address is where the fulfill function is defined. That means our own requester contract. And then the fulfill function ID, that is again going to be like the function selector of the fulfill function. And then this would be the encoded parameters. So for Anode, these parameters are already encoded, so we don't really have to encode anything. So we would just pass Anode here, then the endpoint ID UN256 for a single random number. Then for the sponsor, it's going to be address this. This is where we pass the sponsor wallet. And then again, it's going to be the same address for the fulfill. And this is how we define a function selector. It's basically a signature of that function. So we are going to code this function right after this, fulfill UN256 and the selector. And there we have it. So this is where we make a request to the Anode. Let me just update the mappings also. So expecting request ID to be fulfilled, request ID. This should be true. So as long as this value is true, that means the request hasn't been fulfilled yet. And then we emit the event that the requested UN256 with the request ID. I'm not able to look at any doubts if you guys have on the screen. So if Ben can take over that, then yeah.
All good, Vansh.
Cool.
Yeah, I guess just on that note, if there's any questions whatsoever, please feel free to fire away. It'd be a great time to ask.
Then we have fulfill UN256 again. This is the function selector of this function. We're going to make this function. And this is the callback function that gets called by the Anode. So bytes32, request ID. And bytes call data. This is where we get our data with the request ID so that we can match it.
I've got a question here. I know you've been testing this out recently. What is the gas fee? What is the average gas fee on LightLink from?
On LightLink, it's really low. I'm not exactly sure, but I was trying it on testnet, and I think I just sent 0.001 or 0.01 ETH, even below that. And you can basically fulfill up to 50 or 100 requests easily. So it's really fast and it's really, really cheap. So yeah. It keeps fluctuating. It depends on how the network's going to perform. But for now, while I was testing it, it's not that much. So here we're just going to add so here we added external again, and then only Anode RRP. This is a modifier defined within the RRP requester, so that only the protocol contract can fulfill the request. So that's how, you're basically verifying that your data is not manipulated. And then we require expecting request ID to be fulfilled. I'm going to check if there's a request ID. And there's no request, it returns a message not known. All right. So here, we first set the request ID, expecting request ID to be fulfilled to false. Request has been fulfilled if this function is working. Then UN256, and here we get our QRNG UN256 back from the A node. So we're going to decode it. API.decode data, and then it's UN256. I guess this looks right. And then I defined this different variable so that we can set getter functions for remix. Otherwise, you can basically just pick up this random number and do whatever you want to do with it. Like if you're making a roulette, or if you're making like a lottery or any other game, you can basically do whatever you want to do with it. Like it's just a simple 2-function contract that returns a request ID and the QRNG UN256. And there you have it. I'm going to also make the same function. So it's going to take some time. I guess I'm going to do the same thing for array. So if someone wants to request an array, so it's going to be make request UN256 array and then fulfill UN256 array. I'm just going to quickly copy that stuff so that it doesn't take much time.
It's just thinking as you're talking through this, Vansh, like, with the thought that LightLink is going to be doing a lot of ecosystem activity, gamifying some onboarding mechanics for the hackathon for LightLink could be really interesting. Like, there's a lot of whitelisting and promotions that we've seen been built with this, and how can you attract people to LightLink to build projects? How can you reward the ecosystem contributors? Perhaps you could use some sort of entropy to kind of gamify that mechanic. Just speaking out loud here.
Yeah, anyway, exactly. Like you can basically use QRNG for almost anything, and it's free to use. So, and it's fast, and like on a chain, of course, like LightLink, it's blazingly fast, like because the chain just fulfills the request right as it gets it. So, with stuff like this, you can make like dynamic NFT mints. You can make a roulette or like a lottery system, or again like the poker thing. That's also in the bounties, I guess. So, yeah, like you can make sort of anything with a true source of randomness. Here, I added the make request UN256 array. That's again the same function, but it takes in the endpoint ID UN256 array. As you can see, we have 2 endpoints, the normal one for a single random number, and then one for an array. So if we go back here, and then again, this is the address of this contract as it's going to be the sponsor. Then this is the address because here we again define another fulfill. That's for the array. And here I added, so as you can see, before I left the encoding empty, here I just added I'm encoding bytes 32 to 1U and then size, because this particular function takes in size of the array. So you have to specify how many random numbers do you want in an array. So you can request like 10, 20, 50. I think the maximum size is somewhere around 511 within a single request. And it might take up a lot of gas. So you would just be sure about this. And if you have any doubts, like if you get stuck here, so you can message me or Ben, or you can message us about in the Discord. So then we have fulfill UN256 array, the same stuff. Here we are storing it in the memory because of course it's an array, and then we are decoding the array. And again, we define it here. So QRNG UN256 array, let me see. Yeah. And this looks good to go. I would just add these getter functions that are just going to be there for remix demonstration. So what it basically is it returns us the QRNG UN256, and this returns us the array. And that's it. The withdraw function is again You can call it. It makes so ANode RRP has a request withdrawal function. What that basically does is it triggers the ANode to emit like a withdrawal, and then takes in the ANode and sponsor wallet, and it sends funds back to you. So this is the callback to that. This sends funds to the owner of the contract. That's basically the deployer. So yeah. Now we can probably have a typo here. You see. Oh, I guess it's here. Is it? 54. Okay. Oops, my bad. That's this. Point ID. It's D1256. I'm just saying if I made a typo here. So this point ID 1256 array. Oh, yeah. And transfer from. Let's check this. It's transfer. Yeah, my bad. All right, we fixed the bugs and the contract looks good. We can now move forward and deploy this contract on LightLink. So I'm using LightLink Pegasus testnet to deploy this contract, and I have some testnet funds over here. I think you can use the testnet bridge to bridge some funds over. Here we need the ANode RRP address. It takes in the RRP address in the constructor. So to find that, you can just head over to our docs, click on chains, and I think it's 1891 chain ID for LightLink Pegasus testnet. And here's the RRP address for that. So click on transact, and we deploy the contract. And you see, so fast. Just deploy the contract. It's crazy. Now to set it up, we would first need to set the request parameters on chain. What that means is we would have to set up the ANode address, the endpoint ID array, and then the sponsor wallet. So to get this stuff, you can head over to, so first of all, we're going to use testnet random numbers. So as we are on a testnet, this is basically a service that emulates QRNG on testnets. So you can just use this if you're using it on a testnet. So if you're on LightLink testnet, we can just use this. If you're using it on mainnet, you would be using quantum blockchains. This is where the mainnet deployment is. So we're just using this provider. I'm going to copy the ANode address, paste it here. Then endpoint ID UN256, you can copy it from here. Then endpoint ID UN256 array, you can copy it from here. Now for sponsor wallet, this is where things get a little bit tricky. So sponsor wallet is basically derived from the ANode address, the address of the ANode, because this sponsor wallet is essentially something that is controlled by the ANode. So it's a wallet that, so whenever like a data provider or like an API provider wants to deploy an ANode, they would deploy the ANode using a mnemonic that they would generate. So that mnemonic would basically be having like multiple wallets, and the sponsor wallet is one of the EOA that gets derived from the ANode address, the address of the request to contract that's going to be requesting from the ANode, and the extended public key. So to do that, we can just head over to, as you can go in the getting started guide, getting started with QRNG, using QRNG remix example here. So here we have explained each and every function. So if you still have any doubts, you can go over this guide. And here's the command. It's from the Encode admin package to derive a sponsor wallet. So you can basically you can also derive a sponsor wallet using a using a JS code snippet, but you can do it through a terminal too. So the Encode address here, you'll have to change that. So this is the Encode address. Let me just quickly check this with the providers. Make sure not to use the wrong provider. Otherwise, yeah, your request won't get fulfilled. So the Encode address is the same. All right. The extended public key of the provider is the same. And the sponsor address, this is what we'll have to change. Oops. Oh, let me just. Yeah. Just quickly change the sponsor address. It's going to be this address that we just deployed. We paste it here. So this is a tricky part where many of the people who are trying this out get stuck. And here we have it. This is the sponsor wallet address. And this is the wallet that we would need to fund. So once we paste it here, we would click on transact, and this would basically set these parameters on chain. And there we have it. Now what you have to do is you have to send some funds over to the sponsor wallet. So this is the sponsor wallet. I'm just going to send 0.01 ETH. We're on the testnet. All right. And confirm.
Very quick, isn't it, Vansh? Just
yeah.
There's a question from DJ. Can I deploy this locally using Ganache?
Well, you won't be able to interact with the on-chain contracts. You can actually deploy on a local chain on your PC, but you'll have to do an entire contract deployment, the RRP deployment. There are ways to do that, and then you'll have to run your own instance of the Encode. Also, one more thing, talking about this. So if anyone with a REST API would want to basically just use their own Encode, they can do that too. I know it's not included in the challenges, but you can basically generate your own configuration using Chain API. That's a tool that we built here at API3. You basically map all your API endpoints and you get the configuration file, and you can basically deploy an Encode on a chain like LightLink or any other EVM chain. So that's basically this. All right, getting back to it, I think our funds got sponsored. Also, getting back to the question, deploying it on Ganache, I think you would be able to do it if you really want to try it, but it would be far more simpler if you're using it on testnets because the QRNG providers are serving there, right? So yeah.
So basically, Vansh, you could try and do it, but it would take a lot of additional setup around the kind of testing it out locally, right? Because you'd have to interact with the QRNG node off chain, which you might need to reconfigure to read the Ganache setup, and yeah, so you could do it, but it would be perhaps fairly complex to set up.
Yeah. So now we would click on make request, Win 256, for requesting a single random number. Click on confirm. And there we have it. We just made a request. Now, all we have to do is wait for this request to get fulfilled. As I said before, with each make request, it returns a request ID. So as you can see, it's small. I don't know if I can zoom it in. No, I don't think so. So in the logs here, you can actually see the request ID that you can copy and check it against the mapping. So expecting request ID to be fulfilled. Copy it. Yeah. Okay. Right now it's saying false. I think the request got fulfilled. If it's saying true, that means we're still waiting on the ANO to fulfill your request. So, and here we have it. We got a fulfill. You see this sponsor wallet where we just sent funds to made one more transaction. And that's the fulfill transaction. If we go back, we call the QRNG UN256, and here we got our random number. So you can basically do anything with the random number. You can modulo it, you can reduce it, or whatever you want to do with it. It's completely like randomly generated. So it's you can use it wherever you want. And if you want to request multiple random numbers within a single request, so we have make request UN256 array. Let's just say I want 10 random numbers. I click on transact. As the parameters are already set on chain, now it's gonna call the make request UN256 array function, and the fulfill is gonna happen here. It again emitted a request ID. The chain is so fast, I can't even explain request ID properly. It just happens quickly as soon as I click on it. Oh, now it's saying true. So right now we are waiting on the ANO to fulfill a request. That's why we're expecting it to be fulfilled. So we're gonna wait for a while our request gets fulfilled. Let's see. And it got fulfilled. It returned a false. And there you have it. You can see a fulfill in the sponsor wallet where we sent funds. As you can see, for each request, it's barely taking up any ETH. So even if I sent like lesser ETH than that, it would have worked. Like I just sent 0.01 ETH and we still have 0.00999 ETH left with us. So we click on get random number array. All right. And here we got all our 10 random numbers. It's showing it like this, but it's basically an array of 10 random numbers. So if you would want to use them within a script or within a front end, you can just like display them like this. Or within your smart contract, you can like utilize these random numbers. So that's about it. Also, we have multiple guides around this stuff. So if you have, we have like an FAQ section. So if you have any doubts about QRNG, you can head over here and look for your stuff. Then this entire thing that I presented, we have a guide around this and then a video tutorial too. So you can refer to this stuff. And again, if you have any more doubts, you can join our Discord server and we'll be there. And that's it. Any doubts?
Thank you, Vansh. Cool. Is there, if there's some questions in the chat, feel free to answer them live if you'd like.
Yeah, someone just asked the ANO custom API configuration. So yeah, you can use Chain API to generate a configuration. So it's really that simple. You just have to, like, if you have a REST API with like, so any sort of authentication like API key or bearer token, you can set that up within the configuration and then deploy it on your cloud provider like AWS on GCP or whatever you feel like. And then you would have the ANO address and everything like this QRNG provider, and it would be serving your data on chain. And if you have any doubts doing that, we'll be there, because I mean, setting up the ANO is where we get a lot of doubts on. So yeah. I guess
just to kind of reiterate, I know this has been mentioned already, but yeah, there's heaps of guides that have been designed to take you from 0 to 1 with QRNG. They've all been created to be actionable where possible. So if you're, this is a great way to just understand, how QRNG operates and then how to request this to a contract. But if you want to apply that into something that's a little bit more tangible in regards to creating a working output for the RNG, then head to, there's the ecosystem repository with heaps of kind of resources and templates to start with, or head to the documentation where there's a range of guides that are a bit more comprehensively put together, let's say. Awesome job, Vansh. Thanks.
Yeah, I'll just share the guides and the repo links just so that everyone can use it. Thank you, guys.
Amazing. So yeah, I mean, if that's everything from Vansh and Ben, then thank you very much. That was a really great presentation, and I'm sure if anyone kind of has any questions kind of whilst they're building, then I'm sure that we'll be able to get in contact with them. But in the meantime, I hope you found that very useful, and that you can, and I'm sure we'll be able to share those links that Vansh has added to the chat with you on the Hacker Pack, just so that everyone has access to the relevant documentation. Otherwise, there is another workshop on Thursday, and that will be from Perion. I guess similarly with a gaming theme, so it will be leveling up your gaming with XP. So make sure to be back for that one, to be learning even more. And yeah, apart from that, thank you for listening for so long, including the launch event. And yeah, get building. So see you later, guys, and take care.